Tour Guides. I'm Carrie.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Bree.
Today we are taking you on a tour of Berlin. So I haven't been to Berlin. I've been other places in Germany, but not Berlin. It's on my bucket list.
I went to Berlin for Thanksgiving a couple years ago. So I was only there for a couple days in November, but I really, really enjoyed my time. I tried to do everything I could condensed, but I really was only in Berlin, so I haven't been to the rest of Germany. But my husband's grandmother is from Berlin, back pre-World War II. So she had a lot of insight for us talking about, Nazi takeover and her coming to America afterwards, everything that happened. And I've had 2 exchange students from Germany, but different parts of Germany. But one of them was able to meet me there and spend the day with me, so that was really great. So, hey Laura, hey Kata, miss you guys.
I've actually never been to Berlin either. I was supposed to go to Berlin when I studied abroad, but I'm glad I didn't, because the school charter bus that took us got stranded in the Alps.
Oh no!
Those are the right mountains, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just had a brain fart. Got stranded in the Alps off on the side of a mountain, barely any space, and they never got to go, so I'm glad I didn't go.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Well, you know what getting stuck in the Alps makes me want to do?
Drink.
Heyo!
Yep.
So today we're going to be enjoying the Berliner Weisse mit Schuss, lovingly nicknamed the Champagne of the North by Napoleon and his troops, according to The Complete Beer Course Boot Camp for Beer Geeks by Joshua M. Bernstein. Which
That was a lot,
So
man.
many bees.
Yeah, so I didn't include the little tag at the end because it was so long. But yeah, according to him, it's as if lemonade and champagne had a love child. So, Berliner Weisse, spelled Weisse, W-E-I-S-Z-E, so an S is like a double S, but because Germany, W's are V's, if there's an E-I, it's pronounced I, if it's I-E, it's pronounced E. Who knew you'd be learning how to speak other languages? But in Germany, only Berliner Weisse, sorry, my anxiety is really bad today, so if I stumble, I apologize. In Germany, only Berliner Weisse brewed in Berlin can be named Berliner Weisse.
Okay, so it's like champagne can only be
Right.
champagne if it's from Champagne.
Right. And the origin goes all the way back to the 16th century, but there isn't a clear origin story. Many believe that the Huguenots fled persecution in the late 17th century and ended up in Germany and brought their culture with it.
Barat.
Barat.
We'll talk about them in a minute.
So the beer itself is refreshingly tart. It's very pale in color and cloudy because it's often unfiltered. They're not hoppy, so if you don't like hops, it's right up your alley.
Is that what makes it taste like pee?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Good to know.
but the Weisse tends to not use hops at all.
Okay.
It's very low in bitterness and malt, and it's actually very low in alcohol. It's only 2 to 5% ABV.
Oh.
It's also low in residual sugar. So if you're watching sugar intake,
That sounds refreshing.
yeah, but it is, again, pretty tart, and so you still get a lot of flavor with it. It is high in acidity and carbonation, so again, the bubbles, Champagne of the North, yeah. And it's served in a goblet or chalice. Unfortunately, we did not have one of
I
those,
want a
so our
goblet.
picture... Oh. I'm gonna...
You will be getting goblets when I finally get to have my wedding.
Yay!
I
So-
love having nerd friends.
Yep.
Yeah. So the flavor profile includes citrus, grass, and fruit. It pairs well with aged ham on pretzel bread, which
That's so German.
it sounds so good. Havarti cheese or cheesecake with raspberries.
You just had Havarti. That's the cheese that I had out.
I know. I wish. So, fun fact: they use lactobacillus bacteria, which is also used to make cheese, pickles, yogurt, and kimchi.
The best bacteria that you can have. All of those things.
And it helps to get that desired tartness that they want.
Yeah.
And they also use Brettanomyces yeast for fermentation. That was just a fun little nugget that I found of the
Yeah.
specific bacteria and yeast that they use.
Never
So-
thought I'd be so happy about bacteria and yeast.
I think it's similar. It's similar to the one that's used to make kombucha as well.
Yeah.
Fermented foods are really healthy for people with autoimmune diseases. But I can't have beer because there's wheat in it. But if you can, enjoy.
So, we're now going to switch over to what makes it mit Schuss. Mit Schuss literally translates to with shot.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
Mit with Schuss shot. Before y'all freak out, no, it's not with extra alcohol. It's meant to be a light summer drink. So, we're going to be using a shot of flavored syrup. Traditionally, they'd use a raspberry Himbeer syrup, an herbaceous Woodruff or Waldmeister syrup, or even a lemony Zitronen syrup. I practiced those really hard today to make sure I could pronounce it. Also, I love the German language because of Franken words, and these are all like 4 words smashed together to make one word. But yeah, so typically you order Rot, which is German for red for the raspberry, or Grün, which is green for the Woodruff. So, the reason why we haven't gotten our drinks yet is because I have a surprise for Brie. I made our raspberry syrup.
I love you.
And so, I'm going to take a little break right here to now pour our beer with our mit Schuss of the raspberry syrup.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so I just poured our respective beers. Brie is so excited. Also, side note, this beer is super frothy. So we had a lot of foam on top because it is super high carbonation.
Oh shit, I just got the actual beer though. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I'm not a beer person, but I really enjoy this.
Yep.
Okay, so I did make the raspberry syrup, and so it was a simple syrup recipe, 2 cups of water to 1 cup of sugar, but I added 12 ounces of raspberries with it, cooked it down the same. It did take a little longer, so those of you trying it at home, it will take a little longer. Rather than my usual 30 minutes, I think it took 40-ish minutes. And then I actually had to get a strainer out to strain through some of the raspberry and get the little seeds out. I actually had to strain it twice. But that was more my dumb fault because I strained it through and then I would stir the syrup in the bottom with the little scraper that I had a dumb moment. Last night was rough. We'll talk about it at the end. It's fine. But I mean, it has a really nice flavor to it. And it's also really pretty.
It is.
But this is a very traditional way to drink Berliner Weisse in Berlin.
I'm gonna go there.
So, as good Americans, we steal everything. And so, similar beers are the American Sour, the American Wheat, and also the Belgian-style Witbier. Witbier? I don't know if they have similar principles. It's Witbier. So if it's pronounced kind of like German, it'd be Witbier.
Yeah.
Or
that makes sense.
They typically speak French in Belgium.
Which beer? So, a white beer. A light beer. Also, I don't think I mentioned this earlier. Berliner Weisse means Berlin white. So it's considered a white beer. And we'll get to talk about Weisse a little later, too. It ties into my story. Also, I tried really, really hard to find a beer that was actually from Berlin. Thank you, coronavirus, for taking away all my beers. However, in the past week, I did a little bit more research. And I found one. And it's the one that we are drinking. Because I'm about to list off a lot of other American breweries that have this style of beer, the Weisse. So, Philadelphia's Notting Head Brewery and Restaurant was the first to adapt this style of brewing back in 2000 with the Ich bin ein Berliner Weisse, which means I am a Berliner Weisse. Singular Creature. Comfort's Brewing Company has Athena, which is a Berliner Weisse. The brewery has Hottenroth Berliner Weisse. Dog's Head has Festina Pesce, which is a strong peach flavor. New Hampshire's White Birch Brewing has several flavors, including blueberry, raspberry, black cherry, peach, strawberry, watermelon, and they have intent to release more.
Ooh.
I was reading a different article with a different brewery. I just didn't write down the name because I was so overwhelmed with all the different breweries. But they are literally just like, can we put this flavor in there? Let's try it. Hey, that's great. So lots of flavors can go with this. to keep this going, California's Heretic Brewing has the Tartuffe. That's what I thought when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
In another book that I read, my husband has beer books, I have wine books, we're just nerds. But it went off about how Florida has some really good vices. And so Gulfport, Florida has Peg's Cantina that has GOOD, which stands for Gulfport Original on Draft, which is a vice. They also have Ich bin ein Rainbow Jelly Donut, which...
Sure.
I am a jelly donut.
Yes,
Rainbow jelly donut.
I am a rainbow jelly donut and proud.
And also the Jolly Green Rancher. So obviously Jolly Rancher is trademarked, so they have the Jolly Green Rancher.
Sure.
That sounds good.
Probably tastes like green apple, which makes me
Yay.
oh yum. And then Seventh Sun Brewery's Midnight Moonlight Berliner Weisse.
Pretty.
And so I'm super excited to drink this now, since I had to wait literally all evening, since it was a surprise for Brie. I couldn't tell her. So, Prost.
That.
Oh.
It's so good. I'm doing like my fatty cake happy dance.
So, for our meal, this was my favorite thing I ate in Berlin. And when I was there, it was like the Christmas market times.
Oh, I want to go to this.
Love-
So
Well,
the
technically,
Christmas
okay, so
markets.
technically they were the winter market.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't there when the official Christmas markets open, and they're very strict about what's a winter market and what is a Christmas market. So technically, I was there for the winter markets, but I had a lot of Glühwein and a lot of currywurst. So, currywurst is basically just a bratwurst. So it's a pork sausage, typically with a natural casing, that are steamed and then fried, covered in curry ketchup, and served with French fries. So it's pretty much a perfect fast food dish. It's really common for street vendors, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because it's kind of interesting. So it was invented by a woman named Herta Huber.
Herta.
Mm-hmm. And
How
so
very German. I love it.
yes. She created it because she had spices from British soldiers during World War II. And so curry's pretty popular. We talked about that in London. And so they had curry powder with them. And they think it may have been like a Worcestershire sauce or like a tomato paste type sauce. And she put it on very traditional German food with the bratwurst. And she started selling it at her cart. And eventually she had an entire restaurant dedicated to currywurst and super famous for it. It was actually used for I think it was the 100th anniversary, like Google Doodles did in honor to the currywurst.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's that fancy, which is really cute. And fun fact, by tradition, every candidate for the mayor of Berlin is photographed at a currywurst stand. So like it's super Berlin.
They also put it on, because I saw this too, they put it on the coin for the 70th anniversary in 2019.
Oh.
Okay, so 70th anniversary, not that. Yeah.
That's
so
cute.
it is like there's a whole song about it.
They love their currywurst.
Currywurst is like super famous, and it's cute because there's like a lot of pride for it. It was created in Berlin in 1949, and so it's been around for 70 years. Last year, and she had a different name for it. She called it Chili Up in 1951. She patented the sauce.
Interesting.
At the height of the stand, was selling 10,000 servings per week. And then she opened up the restaurant, and on her 100th birthday in June 2013, they did the Google Doodle for it. So to celebrate her birthday, which is pretty cool.
Also, it's cool that you live to be friggin' 100. Damn.
Yeah, well, it could have been on her, what would have been her birthday.
Oh, okay.
But it's really popular children's food, kind of like with the omurice. Omurice from Japan, which is also ketchup. So, kids love their ketchup. There's been a lot of different ones to make it halal. A lot of stands will make it with beef sausage instead of pork sausage. But I did do pork because I wanted to keep it super traditional. There is a museum, the Deutsches Currywurst Museum. And there's 800 million currywurst are eaten every year in Germany, with 70 million in Berlin alone.
Shit.
And so the Volkswagen plant at Wolfsburg runs its own butchery, producing 7 million Volkswagen currywurst per year.
Oh my God.
And they're served mostly just to the employees. So, like,
That's awesome.
super German, okay? Like,
Holy crap.
this is iconic for Berlin. And the picture's not that pretty because I'm going to be honest with you. It's not a pretty looking dish, but
It's sausage.
it's delicious.
Okay, and for our Instagram post, I'm super proud of our little parsley sprigs in there.
Yeah.
Because they
We
were
tried to make it prettier.
they were fresh picked from Catherine's garden, and my husband's always like, if it looks ugly, add parsley.
Because, I mean, it was delicious.
Oh, it was so good, but it looks
Yeah,
It is
was
not
really
pretty.
good.
it looks like street food. It looks like I'm
Yeah.
about to grab this and go with a plastic fork and
Yeah.
get messy
Yes.
on my way going somewhere. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
But very good. So, that is currywurst, which is our food for the week.
So they probably saw me with my head down because I had to text my brother, hey, what's up? To let him know that he needed to listen to this episode because of the drink, because I'm kind of obsessed with this now.
So good.
And it's
And so he was like, what do I need to prepare for it?
Yay! Yay.
Shout out, brother. I'm not going to say your name to respect your privacy, but hey.
Okay, well, now we got a little bit of history. In 1163, Berlin was named Berlin.
Okay.
The mascot is the bear because of the first Margrave of Brandenburg. Albert the bear because he was strong and quick in battle. Yeah.
Sorry. It's Pride Month.
Hey, I was just leaving alone. I wasn't gonna do that one.
This comes out on the 29th, I think. So it's still Pride Month when this comes out.
Yay. Okay. And I skipped around a lot, guys, because everyone just talks about World War II, so I'm not going to do that. 1701 becomes the capital of the Prussian Empire, and King Frederick I made himself the king, and that's when he made Berlin the capital. And he also commissioned Charlottenburg Palace after his wife, the Queen Consort Sophia Charlotte.
Cute.
In 1791, the iconic Brandenburg Gate was commissioned by Frederick William II, and it was supposed to like represent peace and kind of be like the gateway to the Acropolis in Athens, reflective of that. Napoleon actually marched under the Brandenburg Gate to declare his victory after defeating the Prussian stronghold. It was also used as a Nazi party symbol when they were in power, and one of the few structures that stayed standing during or following World War II. In 1830, the first museum was built on Museum Island, also known as Museum Sinsen. Is that right?
Let me look it up. Where are you at? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just going to butcher it, and I know it, so
Okay.
I'm just going to keep,
Oh, yeah, Museum Sincel.
Sinsen, that. Okay. It was the first one built on, I'm gonna fuck this up.
Koninklijkes.
Koninklijkes Museum, the Royal Museum, later named the Altus Museum, the old museum.
it's beautiful.
They also have 4 other museums on Museum Island, and it's considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
There's still bullet holes in all the buildings from World War II, and you can just
Wow.
go, and they kept them all there. And that where it's crumbling too badly, they put like plexiglass over it so people don't like put their fingers in there, but it's
Yeah.
all still there.
Wow.
Well, and
Yeah.
I feel like this is very relevant for what we're going through right now because it's important to acknowledge our history
And
And-
change for the better.
and then change. Like,
Yeah.
there is no German who is proud of the Nazi Party because they see it.
Yeah. Well, so I talked to my exchange students about this a lot,
Yeah.
and when I was there, it's really interesting. So, like, people in Germany, because I did all the Holocaust and Nazi, Checkpoint Charlie, I did all of that when I was there. But, like, what's really interesting is that they don't fly German flags typically in Germany unless it has to do with their sports teams.
Yeah.
Because it's not like here in America, people have flags all the time and we have, like, shirts and things. But there, they don't really fly it because, unless it's for their sports team.
Yeah.
Because they're still working on, like, the national trauma of what happened.
yeah.
And they're still
Yeah.
working through that. And
Yeah.
I meant, the stories I have from Colin's grandmother, they're incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a real quick side note to lighten
That's
up the mood a little bit about the sad Nazis. My story is about a Nazi who was a serial killer on top of being a Nazi, so he's just a bag full of dicks. But I'm going to tell you a wonderful story about Colin's grandmother. So they were a German family, a wealthy German family. So they were not and I'm doing air quotes, they were non-Aryan. So basically they had two choices, which was either let us take all your stuff and use it for the Nazis, or we kill you all. And so he owned a shipping company, like a moving company, truck company, and so they took all of his trucks away from him and said, either you can do this or we'll kill you and your family and take your trucks. So that's what they did until they were able to sneak everyone out. But they went from being like fairly wealthy to having nothing, right? Yeah. And they eventually snuck out. Some of her family members literally just were disappeared. They never were found anything. But she had to go to like camp, and they sent her to this summer camp in Poland, which is right across, like it's pretty close to Berlin. Mm-hmm. And they send her to this camp in Poland basically to manipulate her parents. Oh my gosh. And Colin and I were talking about like, oh, maybe we'll send our kids to summer camp one day. And she goes, I went to camp once. And so Colin and I are like, oh, grandmother, that's like interesting. Like, tell us about your camp. And she's like, well, it was a Nazi camp. She's like, they made us march everywhere and we had to sing all these stupid songs. And I was basically being held prisoner so my parents would have to do what they told me. And then she said, but thank God I got scarlet fever and got to leave. And Colin and I were like, oh my God. She is incredible. She's also like in her mid to late 80s, and she still runs this like 10-acre farm on her own. The riding mower and everything. She's wonderful, but she's a sassy lady, and we were literally like, grandmother, that is not what we were talking about. Like, I was talking about like Girl Scout camp or something, you know, but nope.
Your girl went to Girl Scout camp every single summer. Mm-hmm. It was the best.
Mm-hmm. Yes, also, probably better than Nazi camp that grandmother went to.
Yeah, well, and of course, as you were saying that, my brother and I are texting, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh yeah, this is a great drink for summer. Still talking about their
camp.
Berlin at Weiss. And sorry, brother, I'm putting you on the spot. He said, my summer drink of choice so far has been doing what I call the social distancing Chilton, which one day we're going to do a Lubbock episode and I'll talk about the Chilton. He continues, Deep Eddy lemon and Topo Chico. I don't have to go to the grocery to buy lemons or lemon juice. It's already pre-mixed with your vodka.
Yep.
And I started laughing during Catherine's.
And
it's local. Because go Austin. But the social distancing Chilton made me crack up. Well, and I guess while we're on that, I was out in Lubbock, which is where the drink originates. And I ordered a Chilton my first night there, and I kept sending Catherine and Bree the like random facts about it. I was like, hey, this is a drink that originated in Lubbock. Here's like the 10 commandments for a Chilton, and it's a random fact.
Weirdly enough, we went to my booster club at school gave Colin and I a really nice gift card for dinner to say thank you for the year and like for our wedding. So and Bree came with us, and we went to this, it's a local restaurant, and we went, and they had a Chilton on the menu. Yeah. And it was the same day that you were sending us that stuff.
Oh my God,
and I was like, look, Carrie's like, Chiltons! I know what that is because of Carrie now, but...
Well, and it's, okay.
See, guys, you learn things here.
I know.
You're going to learn so much.
Teaching.
Say stupid shit.
Yeah.
Call Nazi bags full of dicks.
But yeah, well...
Go watch Jojo Rabbit. It's
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
1, 2, 3, swastika! Best part.
Oh, and then at the same time, the Addams Family was coming out, and so they had the black cherry icy, so it was dyed black.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because you came with Colin and my sister and I. Yeah.
And so I got one, and Colin got one. And so when we left, my tongue was black, and it was dyed black. And so the next day, I'm at work, and of course, I got to do my business, so I take my conference period, and I have to go poop. And it is lime fucking green.
And then I get a text message. Catherine, my poop is lime green. I'm like, okay. She goes, do you want the picture?
Well, then Colin also texted her saying the same thing.
And I got a text about the same time from both of them. They're like, why is my poop lime green? I'm like, why am I getting this from two people?
Oh, I knew exactly why mine was lime green. Because
he was like, what's wrong? I was like, well, Carrie's is too. So apparently that Slurpee was a lime green base.
The fact that you guys' poop schedules line up.
Yep. So that was an interesting day. And my students are like looking at me, and I'm like, hey, hey, hey. Like, why are you laughing? I'm like, poop, and they're like, okay. Never is not funny.
We're still 5.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, Leslie will get a kick out of this one. You hear us, Mom? We said poop. Her favorite joke.
If Gracie listened, she probably would too. First time I met Gracie, the only reason she liked me is because I made a fart joke.
Yeah.
Literally, the only reason Gracie liked me.
She just calls me an alcoholic.
This is why Gracie and I have an understanding, because the first time we met, she was like, God, like, semi-adults, y'all are gross, and this is my sister, and then I made a fart joke, and she's like, okay, I'll fuck with you.
She's something.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think it was last episode or the episode before, I only drink socially, and whenever I'm at your parents' house, I'm drinking socially.
That's because my parents literally have a bar.
I know, and it's gorgeous.
That's their whole bit.
It is gorgeous.
And yeah, so I'm pretty sure your entire family just thinks I'm an alcoholic.
Well, they're always drinking when you come over.
I
so
know.
I don't know who.
Gracie's an alcoholic too. Gracie. Okay, I'm sorry we interrupted you on like a
You're
5-minute tangent.
You're
I
good.
had to talk about Joanna and her crazy camp story. I literally was like,
I'm so glad you did.
thank
Also-
God I got scarlet fever and had to leave. I said, grandmother.
No, I'm glad you brought up the earlier bit, though, because I was also going to bring up how, like, you know, in Germany, they're, like, not obviously proud of what happened, and they're trying to...
Yeah, well, and we talked about it a little bit with
Yeah.
Tokyo, too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're just kind of doing a little bit of World War II history, it seems like, right now. But
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, it was a, world war.
yeah, everyone
So-
was involved somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. So this is fun. 1951, West Berlin hosts the first Berlin International Film Festival.
Ooh.
Right, aka Berlinale. I don't fucking know. One of the big 3 festivals in the world, along with Cannes and Venice, of course. The opening in June of 1951 was Hitchcock's classic horror film Rebecca.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it was originally organized between the British, German, and U.S. film organizations to quote-unquote showcase the free world and the divided city, which leads into that.
That's cute.
More than 400 international films are screened at the festival
They could
every
be
year.
screened.
Maybe. With approximately 500,000 people in attendance.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Probably not happening this year.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Half a
The
million
Olympics
people.
couldn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
My
Rough.
wedding couldn't happen.
You're married. It'll happen in September.
I hope so. It's a lot of money, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just realized an episode's gonna come out on my anniversary
Oh.
because it's Labor Day.
What episode? Oh, Labor Day. Just kidding. I was like, we don't know yet.
No. I literally, we're recording tomorrow because I'm going to be in Colorado for a week. And, like, literally, I can't remember what tomorrow Wednesday we're filming, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our schedules are a little crazy right now, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Lots of sausages. So get ready.
Heyo!
I like sausages.
Yeah. Lots of sausages this
There
week.
you go, Leslie. There's your sex shout out. I know how you love it.
She will literally be, like, in her car, like, outside on the back deck, like, cackling. She'll be so excited.
I also hear you think I'm fucked up because I make a lot of sex jokes. Which I think is fucking hilarious.
I mean, we've already established what our whole family thinks of me.
I'm like
As
proud
I
of
am.
her for sticking through this though, because she does like not have the attention span to do anything. So I'm like really proud. She's like listening to them all.
Thanks, Leslie.
I know. I said, "Wow, Mom, that's really good. I'm proud of you."
Okay, sorry, we digress.
We're back.
It's fine. My section could use a little fluff, a little push up anyway.
That's
so. Shut up, Carrie. Okay, 1989, the Berlin Wall falls.
Yay!
Yay!
So the Berlin Wall obviously separated East and West Berlin until the German Democratic Republic decided that the two sides.
Another interjection. My favorite thing on the Berlin Wall, it says "God is a black woman,"
Yeah.
and I have a picture of it, and I was like, "Yep."
I mean,
So, no, my kindergarten teacher's son, he's so woke, y'all. So, he was like 6 and he was like, I love God. She's such a great person, like creator, and like she blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, preach, son, preach. He knows. He
well,
knows.
and see, I'm I'm torn between laughing and just, like, rolling my eyes so far back in my head I can see my brain. But then people are just like, Jesus was white. Y'all, Jesus was Middle Eastern.
Yeah, y'all are dumb.
He's literally
sorry,
Jewish.
not sorry.
Yeah, literally
Y'all
Jewish.
Like,
Like,
his whole
Jewish.
thing.
For real, though.
Like,
That's literally
that's
his whole
like
deal.
his
Like,
thing.
he was not a Christian because he was the beginning of Christianity. He
Yeah.
was the reason why Christianity exists.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was...
I'm good, Tom.
I'm sorry.
I was going, We're like, yep, okay.
I've been.
She bit her tongue.
I know what she said. That's like that game we played this weekend.
So much fun. What did you say or something? It's like speak
Yeah.
out. Okay, sorry, distracted. It was so much fun. There was so much drool.
Yeah.
We digress.
Yeah,
Again.
bro, we literally, like, how long has this been? Like an hour?
No, we're at 31 minutes.
I'm almost done with history. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we're good.
Okay, so German Democratic Republic decided the two sides should be able to move about and mingle freely. So people climbed the wall to reunite with their family members and friends, which,
Good.
fuck you, they should not have been separated from their family members to
Preach it.
begin with.
Uh-huh.
Okay, one more Joanne story.
Hey,
Grandmother. She is actually the one who recommended this beer
Uh-huh.
because she, the first thing they did when the wall came down was go over to the other side and
Get
everyone
a beer?
shared beers together.
yes!
Well, and I had found this before.
She has her glass, like her bottle from that
Aw.
time. Mhm. She still has them.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, and it, like, clearly this was meant to happen
Mhm.
because I found the Berlin Weiss Schuss before, and I was like, I just can't find a beer from Berlin, and that was something that I feel very passionate about. You know, if you can try to find where it's sourced, especially, you know, for things like this where we're talking about a very specific city, and I'm trying to find things that are local, and so I could not find anything from Berlin until after you told me that story.
Yeah. It was a really neat story. She was really excited to help, too.
Oh.
I was trying to explain what a podcast was, and she's like, so it's the radio? And I was like, yeah.
Yes.
I want to meet her so bad.
Oh my god, I can't wait for her Nana, like my Nana and his grandmother to meet each other, because the amount of attitude between the two of them, and my, like, very Austrian grandmother and her very German, oh my gosh, it's gonna be something else.
Are they both going to be at the wedding?
Yeah.
Yes! I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Get ready.
That's gonna be Sassfest.
Oh gosh, the world is not ready.
I love sassy females.
Uh-huh.
They make me so happy. They're
Probably going to be a lot of pantsuits involved. I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I wasn't going to bring this up till later, but speaking of sassy women, my husband's grandmother passed away yesterday, which is why we're having to cram 2 episodes in super close together. But she was a firecracker. And so, shout out Joan. You are so loved. Listeners, go tell your family that you love them. If you don't have biological family that you love, tell your friends you love them, because they're also your family. You know, your family isn't necessarily blood, but, you know, I'm sorry, I'm getting... Bree talk!
Okay, sorry. Okay, people climbed the wall. They reunited after being separated for decades, and people broke off pieces to keep... Oh, what did I do? To keep as souvenirs and bumped the thing.
She has a chunk too.
Oh, I was so confused for a minute.
Yeah, grandmother has a chunk of the Berlin Wall.
That's badass.
Oh yeah, cool. She's so cool.
And so there's a brick line that still runs through Berlin to show where its people were once divided by the wall. And last bit of history, in the early 2000s, the citizens of Berlin acknowledged the impact of World War II by opening the Memorial of the Murdered Jews of Europe and the Jewish Museum to address the atrocities inflicted by Hitler and the Nazis.
It's wonderfully done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
They also
awesome.
have memorials for the Roma, LGBTQ, and individuals with disabilities who also fell victim to the Nazi Party.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't like a huge population of Jewish people, but the Romani people, any people who are openly gay or suspected of being gay, lesbian, people with disabilities, Catholics, anyone that didn't fit the description of who he wanted to bring to power at that time. And I say he because it was
Shrimp.
pretty singularly run.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and a nice last quote for that was, "Marred by war, the city has aimed to rebuild itself with the self-awareness needed to heal." And I thought that was nice.
I wish we could do the same.
yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and the way that the Jewish memorial is set up so there's like an actual museum that you can walk through, and it's really interesting, and it's open like super late, so it's really interesting to be able to go in. So people can go in at any time of day, but it's like almost like a labyrinth, and they're all different heights, and they represent like different people and different numbers of things, and you like walk through it, but it's like a forest of like stone columns, so like they're like way over your head, and they're all different heights.
Wow.
It's really interesting. Like, it's a beautiful art piece, and it was made by a Jewish designer who designed it to like honor his people. So it's really cool.
That's amazing.
It's definitely worth going to if you get the chance. There's a lot. Like, that city is still noticeably rebuilding from this time, and it's coming up on 100 years pretty soon. 20 years, it'll be 100 years. So it's very interesting, but I think they do a really good job, and it's an important part of almost every country in this world's history is World War II. So if you can go check it out, you can do a lot of it in a single day. So even if you're just stopping over, Berlin has really nice public transportation, and stuff is really close.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because when I was researching mine, it automatically put it into public transportation from like the city center to where I'm talking about. Two
of my favorite things that happened when I was there is, one of them, they have the plaza where they did the book burnings the Nazis did, they have a big hole in the ground. It's covered up with glass, and it's lights, and it's empty bookcases all underneath the ground in the plaza, and you walk across the glass, and it's just hundreds of empty white bookcases that are all lit up to like be a remembrance for that.
Wow.
Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And then I went to the Berlin Cathedral, which is like right in the middle of Berlin, and we hiked all the way up to the top because there's like lots of steps, and we went up and we looked at everything and got to see Berlin from above. But there was like this kid, he was like 14 maybe, and there's a giant organ, and he was like looking, because it was like roped off, and there was a security guard. He was like peering around, like looking at it, and I don't know, I was high above him, but I was watching him. And this little kid went up and like talked to the guard, and the guard like moved the rope. And the little kid went and sat down and started playing like this gorgeous organ song. Yeah, so the little boy like played the organ, and so he asked, and the guard let him in. And he started playing, and he played for the whole church on this giant organ. And he was so little; it was so cool.
So when I travel, that's one of the things that I like seek out. I'll go to the local cathedral and find the organs, and I have pictures of all the organs. My favorite is the one in Regensburg, because it's literally 2 stories tall, and it's double layer pipes. Oh my gosh. But like, I love hearing them and seeing them. I got to hear the one at the church that in the town that Van Gogh lived in for his last 70 days. Like, I got to hear it played, and I sobbed. But yeah, so y'all, the organs tell a story.
Super cool. Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out to that neat little kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. Guys, let's talk about all the creatures of the Black Forest.
Oh,
yay!
Yay.
Okay.
Spooky.
Okay. I'm so excited.
Nuts?
Yes.
For females?
Yes, because I'm actually supposed to go there on my honeymoon.
Ooh.
I know.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
I know, that's why I was just like...
Also, Catherine's over our shit, and she covers her face with her t-shirt.
I just turtling a little bit.
Oh,
turtle.
I didn't hear the Lynn. I thought you said I just turted a little bit. And I was like,
no, I just a little turtle. I just gotta go in my shell a little bit. I've seen a lot of people today. I did a photo shoot this morning, and so there's just a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I can't drink because I can't have beer.
That's it.
And I drank way too much last week, so I'm in time now.
You'll get to drink tomorrow. It's fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
You need the time, because if you're here, you probably heard LA, and you know your girl does not need to drink today.
We got 3 wines coming for you next week, so
Ayo.
Yeah.
and for us that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm crying because I have to work on Wednesday.
I have to drive back to Lubbock on Wednesday, so
Imagine having to do things.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
I did something today, and now look.
Yeah,
look at where we're at.
I have to people all the time, and today I wanted to kill everyone.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
them. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I'm really excited to get to go to the Black Forest on my honeymoon, which got postponed.
I'm
Thanks,
excited
COVID.
for you.
I was supposed to be in Scandinavia right now.
Oh,
Well, screw
COVID.
Screw you both, because I wasn't going anywhere. Yeah. So that was like weird slobbery.
Yeah,
I don't know what just happened.
Bree's got the beer burps.
Okay. I do.
Okay. Black Forest.
The werewolf of Morbach. He's said to be the last place.
I'm gonna find him.
Morbach was said to be the last place a werewolf was killed in the late 80s, and a candle was left.
1880s or 1980s?
19.
Bruh!
Yeah.
I'm gonna
80s
find
werewolf?
Wait for it. Okay, a candle is lit. Nope. Left burning in the village as both a warning and a reminder, and a candle went out one time in, I think it was 1989 or some shit. Or 98. There was an 8 and a 9 in there.
You're a candle in the window on a cold dark winter's night.
Would you light my candle?
Nice.
Okay.
Rock of Ages and Rent. Good.
Okay.
You are 5,000 candles in the wind.
The trifecta.
We got it covered, guys.
We should start a cover band. Okay, go ahead.
The Lana Del Rey one, remember?
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
So the candle went out one time, and allegedly a wolf-like creature was seen lurking at a U.S. airbase.
Lurking?
Yeah, he lurk. So he lurk. He stared at the soldiers before going back to the forest.
He's came up and give him a nod and
What's up, bruh?
I'm gonna blow out your candle.
he huffed and he puffed.
Farted out their candle.
He huffed and he puffed.
No, you just spit on my arm.
Yeah, well, I did. And what you gonna do about it, Bree?
Wipe it on your leg, cause gross, man.
That's fine.
I've had spit. No.
What was
Ew.
that?
Nothing.
Talk about the werewolf. And he huffed and he poofed. And he signed an eviction notice.
Sometimes they poof too. Okay. So they relit the candle.
That's for you,
and-
Daisy. Okay, keep going.
It's never gone out since then, and because if it does, the werewolf will return, according to the townsfolk.
Ooh.
That's fun.
So we're gonna blow out that motherfucking candle!
Says the woman who has literally 14 candles lit in her house right now.
Well, I'm laughing because we have a candle on the table
In
with
front
the
of my face that I keep sniffing.
and it's closest to Brie, and I really was going to go and blow it out.
I keep sniffing it.
Nita is
You
the
could probably
werewolf.
hear me whisper, it smells so good. Through your segment.
I love candles, man. Colin loves them too, and we go. We have to buy so many. We go and we do sniff test, and we each pick out our favorite flavor.
Uh-huh.
We
Okay.
go home.
Bath and Body Works had an $8 candle sale one time, and I bought literally
I look
12.
like a hoarder. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to get me the stacks of the cardboard and the individual containers.
Well, you know me. I have an actual closet smell.
Oh, yeah.
It is all of the smell goods.
Yeah, one
whole
of the
closet.
little doors leading into our entertainment center is just all candles and smell good stuff.
Yeah.
Because I
Can't
gotta live
be-
my life smelling good.
Can't be smelling like bratwurst up in here.
No.
Fur. Okay.
Although my house right now smells like raspberry syrup.
Nice.
Oh, it's delightful.
You should put it in a candle for me. Okay. Don't give me that look, Catherine.
I'm thinking scientifically if that could be possible.
A raspberry
Continue.
candle?
No, a raspberry syrup candle. I don't think you can make it with that. You'd have to get an essential oil or something to scent it with raspberry.
How to get all
I was just thinking
scientific
about
and
it.
shit.
Maybe I was thinking about your Christmas present or something, Brie. You don't know.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay. So the changeling.
Woo!
Yeah. Okay, so in fairy lore, changelings are the sickly babies of fairies that are swapped out with healthy human babies. So the human parents are left with a sickly fairy baby that will most likely eventually die. One, because it was sickly to begin with, and two, because there's a lot of iron in the human world, and fairies are deathly allergic to iron, so the iron would make the baby increasingly sicker until it grew so weak it died. And I love how I say this like it's fact. If you don't know fairy lore, get your
come
shit
on.
together, people.
Get it together, people. Know your fairy lore.
I meant, the changing lore is all over Europe.
Oh, yeah.
It's super prevalent, so.
Oh,
It's just an
Scotland
uncultured
is
swine of Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the fairies get to keep the healthy human baby to raise as their own. And the Brothers Grimm said to protect your child from being swapped out with a changeling. I know. I was like, I should do more Brothers Grimm. And I'm like, no, I should actually do my own research.
I have a Brothers Grimm book,
Fun
and it
is
makes me
that.
so happy.
Me too. But they said to prevent the baby from being swapped out with a changeling, put a key next to the baby and make sure the mother isn't left alone for the first 6 weeks after she births the baby. Because this is said to be the time.
Oh, you said burst.
I know. It did say that I burped in the middle of it.
Birth, burped, and burst.
Yeah.
She births the baby. Because this is said to be the time during which the devil has the most power over the innocent.
Yeeted the baby.
Yoked that hoe. I yoked last weekend. I almost hit a car. My sister said yeet and I yoked. For real though, that's how it happened. It was kind of impressive. Okay, so they also said the mothers shouldn't go to sleep until someone else is there to look after the baby and make sure they aren't switched. And covering the baby's cradle with a pair of men's pants could stop the changeling from sneaking
And
in.
suffocate your baby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe not that one.
Let's not kill our babies.
Don't listen to the Brothers Grimm.
No.
They have no insight on child rearing.
You are right.
Don't even read those to your baby.
Oh, yeah.
And they turn out to be us.
I they were read to me as a baby.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I'm so
like,
interested.
I was in Mama's womb and they're like, oh, the dead things. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yay!
And then
Yeah.
they chopped off the stepsisters. That was Bree dropping her phone. As I was trying to reference the
She
original
once again
Cinderella.
yoked.
Oh, shit.
It has been yeeted.
To have yitten.
Yacht or not to yacht? That is the question.
That is not the question. That should never be the question.
Would someone please make that a shirt?
It's just me with a neck
So
ruff.
bad. Oh my god, yes, it has to have.
Oh my gosh. Okay, picture this. We have all three of us. We have the neck ruffles. It says, to yacht or not to yacht? And I just have little skulls in our hands.
Yep.
And just like, one of us looks like we're about to just...
But one of them is a unicorn skull, one of them's an alien skull, and one of them's a people skull, so that we can have our own, like...
Oh,
lore.
yeah.
Cool, but also mine's gonna say Hauntrix, beware the shaft TM.
That's him on the back.
Okay.
The shirt makes no sense. Okay. Continue.
Okay. So we're on to Lorelai, and I know the song is Caroline, but every time I see her name, I'm like,
Sweet Lorelai.
Lorelai Gilmore?
I think that too. I love her. Okay.
Lorelai.
Hey! It's even spelled that way. Lorelei. I saw it another way too. But
Is that in the Wicked book? No, it's Loreline.
so good?
What am I trying to think of? By,
I know the book, but I
Yeah.
can't. It's been a long time since I read it.
I think there's a Loreline in it.
Probably.
But it's line, not Lorelai.
Will she lie? She's a nymph. She lived at the top of the rock on the Rhine River.
Cool.
She's also like a siren.
The
Cool.
Rhine! That's where I'm going on my honeymoon.
I was
I'm
really
just so
quiet,
excited.
yay.
Yay! That's that. I'm excited for you, but fuck you!
That might have been that. Okay, well, Lorelai was beautiful and sang a haunting song to enchant sailors so that they couldn't resist her aura.
And this is on the Rhine
keep
River?
Swimming
That's
near
what they
me,
said.
close enough so you can hear me. That is from Peter and the Starcatcher, one of the best plays ever written.
So on the river cruises, so for all you listeners out there, I love river cruising. It makes me so happy.
Carrying all the old people.
Yeah, me and literally all the 60-year-old people, because it's the best, and I have zero tolerance for the shenanigans of the youths.
Maybe that's why my Tinder and Hinge look like they do, because it's like all of the old people.
Yep. Bree's ready for a river cruise too.
We'll go. But anyway, they're like, okay, here's the safety briefing. If we go down, go to the top deck, because the river's not deep enough to sink the ship. So I'm like, if this siren is trying to lure them to their death by, like, sinking on the river, you
Well,
can
she could
literally...
grab them and dunk them.
She smashes them against the rocks.
Okay, that's
Oh,
fair.
she's got this.
I was about to say, because, like,
got this.
if you're trying to just, like, sink the ship and drown them, these rivers are not that deep.
No, she's got this. She's crushing their skull.
Yeah.
You can't do much with that.
With her thighs.
Ooh.
Oh.
I do that too. I got thighs and buns of steel, folks.
Uh-huh.
Gymnastics coming in clutch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, the sailors that tried to go to her never returned because they were smashed to bits against the rocks.
Sure. Okay, there you
go. So, yeah, she wore white and she had a wreath made of stars in her hair. Like,
Bruh!
Like,
me at my wedding.
Can you make me up, though?
Literally Catherine at
For
her
real,
wedding.
though. That's what I thought of when I read that, too.
Thank you. Aw, I should tell Colin that if he ever
Don't
screws
smash
up, I'll
Colin.
smash his head against the rocks.
Hey, Zach, you listening? I love you, babe.
God, why do people marry us? We threaten them on our
This is why I'm single! I scare them all away!
Hey, boys, she's single.
Don't
She
be
also might
terrified.
smash your head against the rock.
Don't be terrified, I might eat your heart.
Devil
Also-
makes three, you don't need
Yeah.
no other love.
But maybe.
I
You
love
missed
that
Oh
movie.
Brother, Where Art Thou? We had that
We did a
night.
double feature of Holds and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
We have to do that again, but also, you just sitting on my foot right now. It's super cute.
She's so cute.
Just a kid. A good baby.
She is a good baby.
She's the werewolf. She's the one they all fear.
Werewolf.
Werewolf!
Roll in the
So
hay.
many musicals.
Okay.
I don't think there hasn't been a show yet that we have not referenced at least 5 musicals.
Why would I do anything that doesn't
It's
involve
us.
musicals? Yeah,
Right.
man, the best.
Okay, so there's actually a statue of her that stands over the dangerous waters near Sankt Gorshausen.
Sorry, didn't look at it. Let me
It's
see.
okay.
I'm just.
You got it?
You don't need to help me, Carrie. I'm gonna own my.
I'm free balling it, folks.
Yep.
Let's see this. Oh yeah, St. Gorhausen.
Ha! Suck it, bitches! I don't even know German except for that one time we sang a schöne Nacht in fucking high school. That's the extent of my German.
I know. I've sang a couple songs in German, and I only know one word that Laura taught me. It's Frühstück. It means hickey.
Nice.
Thank you, Laura.
I've singing a lot of German, so I just know a lot of random ass words.
I probably sang more German, but literally the only one I remember is a schöne Nacht. Because of the umlauts. Because my...
Schöne Nacht.
Yeah, he'd be like, the umlaut's like...
Oh yeah, it's the double dots over the letter.
he said to... Every time.
And so it's always a vowel within another vowel.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
that's
like-
like French.
Yeah.
The E is like...
Yeah.
It's the ugliest... It's the ugliest sound ever. Like water? Yeah. Okay. So the pie...
Wasser. That's German for water.
Wasser.
Wasser.
Earlier you said peche, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's like fish in French or some language that I know.
Pesce is fish in Italian.
Italian.
Pescado.
See, I can never remember which
Ita-
language it is,
Spanish.
but I know.
Seafood.
Yeah.
And pesque. Mm-hmm.
I can never
Well, it's
remember.
P-E-C-H-E. This could be just like pesh.
See, I just
Fish.
know bits of too many languages.
Why are we
that
talking
I can
about
never
fish?
remember.
Okay, continue.
Okay. So the Pied Piper of Hameln.
Well, also, I think that was Doghead, which has a fish label on it.
See? It's fish. They lied to you. It's not peach, it's fucking fish.
It's fish flavored beer.
But it tastes like peach.
Okay, hey.
Sorry, we get
Pied
distracted.
Piper of Hameln. In that place,
What was
loads
that?
of children. She's licking.
Yeah? Hemel.
Hameln. Okay, loads of children disappeared at the same time without a trace, and no one knows where they went.
Oof.
But they suspected the rat catcher bewitched them and stole them away after the mayor of the town refused to pay him for his work.
Rude.
He was supposed to be the Pied Piper.
Aw.
Yeah, because like rat catcher. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So, the Watsman
Nope.
Mountain. Watsman.
There you go.
Sorry.
We
Yeah.
talked about it earlier. You don't
I
have an
know.
excuse right now.
No, and I actually normally know that, so I
I
don't
was
know
so
why I did
pretentious.
that.
Like I was like bratwurst. Just call it a bratwurst.
And the
Catherine,
thing
come
is,
on.
in every other episode, I'm like, Erwin, and like all this other shit, and I'm like, the fucking German episode, Watsman? I don't know. Anyway.
I have a lot of German shit in mind, so I'm like, I had to practice today.
I did not
I did
practice.
not
I
practice.
never practice, so suck it, bitches. You get what you get.
And then I correct. 'cause I'm
It's a shit
bitch.
show and a train wreck, but you get what you get.
We'll talk about train wrecks in mine. Continue.
Okay, so in southern Bavaria, they had a tyrannical king whose name was Watzmann. He liked enslaving people and hunting peasants. Yes,
Oof.
I
Oh.
said peasants, not pheasants.
Gross.
So, a curse was
Most
put on...
dangerous game, kind of bit.
Yeah. So a curse was put on him and his family, turning them
Good.
all to stone.
Perfect.
They're said to still be entombed within a range of 7 mountains near Berchtesgaden. Sure.
Berchtesgaden.
That thing. There's a mountain called the Watzmann Mountain in the Bavarian Alps, and it's the 3rd tallest in Germany. Are you singing a song from... Yes! Yay! I love our nerdiness. Okay. So, the Rubental. So, it was a trickster mountain spirit. Apparently has roamed the mountains for hundreds of years. We do love our tricksters.
We do.
Yeah.
Gabriel.
Loki.
Oh, Gabriel. I'm trying to get as many in as I can today. I'm feeling pretty good.
See my face to Catherine just then.
We're like at 7 or something, so
I'm
let's keep
impressed
going.
with us.
Yeah.
Okay. He tricks people, and he also gives out presents, and I'm like, ah, sweet little baby.
He's like Fred and George Weasley.
Yeah.
Oh,
Notice
no.
I said Fred and George. Continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't kill a twin, people.
No.
Rude.
Okay.
Portrayed as a man in socks and sandals with a poncho or
What?
something, and maybe some shorts. I'm like, y'all, this is so relatable.
It's literally me when I travel. Not him.
But also portrayed by others as a sort of spindly black dragon man.
But that's not me. I have never been called spindly. Nor will I ever be called spindly.
You've been called the Black Dragon Man?
I've definitely been called a dragon woman before. I don't think they meant it in a flattering way.
Probs not, but it's okay. It's still flattering because, like,
Oh, you want to call me an all-powerful beast? Okay.
that can breathe
Yeah,
fire
that's
and
right.
roast you to a crisp, you tiny fucking peasant.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the last one is the Children's Crusade.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah. Apparently
like
a boy...
like the real Children's Crusade?
Wait and find out.
Okay.
Apparently a boy said he was visited by Jesus in the 13th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to convert Muslims. So he got together a bunch of followers, mostly other children, and took them with him toward the Mediterranean on boats, one of which crashed and killed everyone on board.
Aww.
The other boat made it to Tunisia, but the kids were sold into slavery, so none of them made it where they were going. Maybe this is what happened to all those kids, not the rat catcher.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why you shouldn't mind your own business.
Yep.
Children should not be going anywhere without parental supervision, especially on a crusade.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
12. Sit down.
For real, though.
Don't look him in the eye. Is that 8?
13!
9.
Other musicals, yeah.
Yeah.
Like our audience members.
All 13 of you.
That's about how it goes.
Shout
Hey. We're going to talk about this fun, spooky little haunting called the Citadel Spandau, or the Spandau Citadel. So for those who may not know, a citadel is a fortress, typically on high ground, that protects the city. And I'm going to need y'all to bear with me because these dates kind of bounce around. But for them to make sense logically with what's going on, I kind of need for them to. But I will kind of go back through and make a little timeline for it. So, the city of Spandau started in 1230. And then in 1920, it was incorporated into Berlin, which is where we're at now. And so the Citadel in Spandau was built from 1559 to 1594, and it is one of the best preserved Renaissance military structures.
Cool.
It sits about 15.5 kilometers west of Berlin on its own little island on the Havel River, which is close to the mouth of the Spree River. The Citadel was designed with bastions to make sure that it had no blind spots. So it's basically what it looks like. It's a square that has diamonds on the corners, and so they're just kind of wedged in, so that way there are still 4 sides, but it's wedged onto the end. So it's like a little arrowhead pointing off the edge of each of the points of the square. So that way there's no blind spots, and it's really sturdy. And for this one, it happens to have names for each of the bastions.
Sebastian.
I'm gonna name my bastions.
Yeah. So the first one is Königin, which is queen. König, king. Kronprinz, which is crown prince. And Brandenburg.
Where's the princess, motherfucker?
I was waiting for her.
Sorry.
These bitches.
But
They
if it makes
robbed
you-
us.
If it makes you feel any better, in every single article I read on the names of the bastions, Kinnikin, which is queen, was always named first.
Good.
Suck it, XYs.
Yee. So, the Julius Tower is part of the Citadel. It's a pretty small tower with only 153 steps. And you can...
It's too many steps. That's a plenty big enough tower.
It's plenty big, but it's
Not
also,
for military, but for me to walk.
I'll tell you why in a hot second. But you can still see the entire fortress and the Havel River from it. And it initially served to defend the castle of Margraves of Brandenburg with its 3.6 meter thick walls. Little fun fact for you. I didn't realize how far down I had put my other fun fact about this. But my first fun fact, this helped protect the Reichskriegs... Okay, this is a Franken word. So it's Reichskriegesschatz.
Shot.
Everybody!
Okay, let me try that one more time to see if I can get it more
Appropriate.
yeah.
I like the
Reichskriegesschatz. But it's SCHATZ.
Still fist bumping.
However, it's the Imperial War Treasure
Ooh.
that was from the Franco-German War from 1870 to 1871. And it was held there until 1919. So, just working through the timeline of this before I get to the ghost.
Spooky.
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 And there is a lot of like...
Spooky Christmas.
There is some cool history here, and I really want to go because it is still active, and I'll talk about that at the very, very end. But jumping all the way back to 1230. Again, Spandau was created as a city in 1230, separate from Berlin. In the early 13th century, the date is really unknown, is when the Julius Tower was built. So that's 200 years before the actual Citadel was built. And it is Berlin's oldest building. So that's a little nugget for you.
Your history section's better than mine. That's my whole job.
Okay, that's because I'm focusing on one thing. And you're focusing on literally an entire city.
Like an old city, too.
Right. And as mentioned briefly before, in 1417, Berlin served as the official seat for the words are really hard right now.
Magna Carta.
That.
Margraviate. Margraviate. I just said it super hit because that's about as...
Margraviate.
Margraviate of Brandenburg, which...
I wonder-
Brandenburg portion of the
Someone with the
bastions.
last name of Berg, they should name their kid Brandon. That would be really good.
Brandenburg, Prussia.
Brandon, Aaron, you know.
Burr, sir.
I know.
Pardon me, are you Brandon Berg?
Sir? That depends. Ooh, who's asking?
Thank you
Another
for
one.
picking up my...
We got another one in.
I
Oh
fucked
my
it up
God.
midway through, but it's fine.
Okay, anyway.
You tried real hard.
So...
I know it. That's the sad thing.
I just started like Jonathan. I
can't
just watched
speak.
all of So Queer Eye takes place in Philly this season, which is like, you know, where I'm from, so I was so excited. But I just had a Jonathan moment. I was like, oh, you tried your best, sweetie.
Condescending batch.
Me or Jonathan? Both.
Both.
Oh my
Okay.
God. Thank you.
Anyway,
Very
so
good.
the Margraviate of Brandenburg, that's a major principality of the Holy Roman Empire and the namesake of one of the bastions.
Not what I thought you were going to say.
No.
I thought she was going to say one of the Bachelors. I was like, really?
I thought she was going
I
to
don't
say
watch that
bastards.
I don't either. Like, I don't do
Like-
reality TV.
I do.
So for Queer Eye.
Yeah. But...
And The Great British Bake Off, the best TV show of all time.
Oh my gosh. I would want...
Literally the best TV show of all time. And I watch a lot of TV. And Colin and I will fight you because the wholesome pureness of that show is what this world needs.
Was it Josh Gad's character in Central Park, or was it another character that was like made a joke about how the British Bake Off was like such shit and stuff?
Oh, I don't know, but it offended me.
I remember.
Yeah, I want to get a picture with Paul because blue eyes and just like striking this.
See, I am Mary Berry.
I like just the whole thing, just all of it, and I want to eat everything, and I just watch the TV and I want to eat it all.
Lick it.
My dad was doing a crossword puzzle the other day, and he's like, what's a, he was like a tower of like, he's like, something that begins with a P, and I was like, a Krakenbush, and he was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, your profiterole tower? He's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, you're welcome for answering your question.
Oh man, I'd love a good
Catherine
profiterole.
being a know-it-all.
No! Yeah, he raised me. It's been 28 years. You think he would know that I would know that answer. I'm like, come on, Joe.
I haven't even made it through this
Come
bullet
on,
yet.
Joe. Sorry.
I keep getting distracted. Okay. Berlin served as the official seat of the Margraviate of Brandenburg once the Hohenzollern took over as the Prince Electors. So that was that whole bullet.
I don't have anything for the second part, so continue.
Okay. So the Hohenzollern... Hohenzollern...
The Hohens?
Yes. You were going to say Hans, and I was like, that asshole.
Hans, you fucker!
He did my girl Anna real bad.
Uh-huh. Oh. Anna...
Hans in the Southern Isles?
No, we have a key player later named Anna.
Hans done did her wrong.
But no, it's Hohenzollern. And I guess, Brie, I see you making eyes at me every time I say ho. Okay, going back into the timeline. From 1559 to 1594, the Spandau Citadel was built. So this is after they took power. This is kind of important for the ghost story. So the first attack on the Citadel, this is irrelevant, but I thought it was interesting, was in 1675 by the Swedes. And I was like, oh.
What?
Prinsessa Torta. That's a Swedish cake from the Great British Bake Off. Guys, I have a problem. Can't even eat baked goods.
But yeah, so I thought that was a fun little nugget. And then in 1806, Napoleon's forces captured it in battle and was almost entirely destroyed. But after the attack, the Citadel went through extensive restoration and was completely rebuilt.
That little shit, Napoleon.
I know. But he
shit.
also...
He's
just been making little appearances here.
I think he was like actually average size for his like area and time.
I am 5'1". I have no room to talk. So whatever.
Well, like he's played part in my drink because he nicknamed the Berliner Weisse the champagne of
the North.
The North, yeah.
The fact that we fucking remembered that and it was your section.
Okay. I've been listening to my Game of Thrones on Audible, and I was like, I really want to...
Winterfell, champagne of Winterfell.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Winter is coming!
I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
The champagne of Winterfell.
Yes. Go House Stark.
Except everybody dies.
Spoilers! I'm just kidding.
And then
Bitches, the show is over if you are not the fuck caught up yet.
Sorry, but I was talking about the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the books are over.
Okay, come on. But how many books are out? Get caught the fuck up.
On with the last one.
Sorry, guys. I do not have coronavirus. I was just outside a lot today, and everything in nature tries to kill me.
Anyway, what was I saying? Okay.
I don't know.
In 1935, the Army's gas protection laboratory was installed.
Ooh, laboratories.
A nice laboratory.
Whoa, throwback.
Where it was used as a research center.
Oh, that's never good.
Which included chemical weapons, think synthesis, animal and human testing, munitions development, and development of manufacturing processes, as well as the effects of nerve gas.
Of course it did.
Not good. Not
Fucking
good.
Nazis.
Fucking Nazis.
Yeah, I almost did Dr. Mengele, but then I didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Because he is just like, I just want to God.
Yeah.
I get so angry.
Yeah. So by the end of World War II, the Citadel was used as part of Nazi fortifications. But in 1945, the Soviets sieged it by surrounding the Citadel with troops to prevent escape, despite the clever designs of the bastions. So
yeah, and they were designed for different times as well.
Right, different times, but also like it is on its own island. So
I want my own island.
Same.
I mean,
not for like greed reasons. I just don't want people to come to my house.
Same.
But like it.
Fucking beer.
Brianna!
I can't help it. I try so hard. I've been like out the side of my mouth with my hand, probably like. I feel like Rick.
Say excuse me, Marty.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Such a mom.
gonna get to the excuse me. I was just explaining first.
So anyway, research facility. However, that was the end of its military career. So after the war, the Citadel was in the hands of the British, who made it a state prison for Prussian inmates. And then beginning in...
Also not great. Also
Right.
spooky.
Right. So I'm surprised there's not more ghosts. We're going to talk about one, but after 2 more bullets.
After 2 more beers.
No, that's what I thought she was gonna say. I was like, fuck, Carrie, I can't take any more. I'm already burping into the microphone.
Okay, this was only a 4-pack. We've had 3 already.
I burp a lot. You're not like
This
me.
is Colin's mic. Believe me, it's getting worse.
Okay, so beginning in 1950, it was the site of a building school.
Okay.
And so the students would stay on site in parts of the Citadel. So, like...
Love an education.
Right, so it was kind of like building college.
Like trade school, yeah.
Yeah, but they stayed on site.
Cool.
And then, so then in 1986, the Citadel became the tourist attraction and cultural site that you would see today. Obviously, it's had some updates over the years, but...
They probably added toilets.
Yeah.
It's my favorite to see where they randomly add toilets in old structures. I love it. It's a really fun game for me.
Yeah.
Where they add the gift shop and where do they add the toilets.
Uh-huh. So, obviously, there is a ghost here because I'm talking about it. So, we have Die Weiss Frau der Hohenzollern, which is the white lady. So, Die Weisse, like Berliner Weisse that we're drinking right now.
But I like it better in French because it's easier.
Madame Blanche.
Madame Blanche.
Die Weiss Frau.
But there was a lot more added to the end of that. I can't say all that shit.
Die Weiss Frau.
But
The
after
white
that,
lady
But after that, you said something.
Der Hohenzollern
That.
of the place.
of Hohenzollern.
That's a lot to fucking remember.
Hohenzollern.
Folks.
That's the family name that she haunts.
Mm-hmm.
That I mentioned earlier that you kept giggling at because I said ho.
There you go. We're back on the right page.
Okay.
We got there.
Okay. So, some lore for the White Lady before we get started. The White Lady appears in a lot of different cultures as a woman dressed in white. Go
You remember
figure.
the white bitch from Epic Story? Or the scary movie parody of all the
Oh,
Narnia?
yeah.
And they called her the white bitch. It's a pretty good joke.
But yeah, so typically dressed in white garments and associated with local legends of tragedy, whether it be accidental death,
Drowning's
or
a lot, right?
betrayal,
Yeah.
unrequited love. So I think that would be accidental death.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the most common stories. I mean, obviously, the specific lore to each region.
It differs based
yeah.
on the topography.
Oh, yeah. And so Germany actually has several white ladies. The Hohenzollern family, mentioned earlier, was a German royal dynasty that had an interesting rumor that appears later in this story that affects several deaths due to the white lady.
Is she killing them?
She's a little haunty. So,
She's a hauntrix.
hey-yo, I'm down.
She is a salty, spooky girl.
I would be too. You'll see.
Okay. Fair.
So, Joachim II was the Elector of Brandenburg from 1535 to 1571. So this was during the time that the Citadel was being built. In 1549, Joachim's wife, Hedwig...
It's Hedwig's theme.
Y'all did Hedwig dirty.
Or Hedwig and the Angry Itch, which all those songs are too hard for me to sing and so sad.
Oh my gosh. So good. Okay. But yeah, Hedwig Jagellon, I'm sorry, I tried, had a serious accident and seriously injured herself, which made it difficult for her to walk.
Okay.
Luckily for Joachim, he had a mistress named Anna,
They always.
named Anna Citadel. Now this story is about Anna.
Oh, she died too? Well, she's a ghost, so probs.
So I said Anna would come back.
I'm
But
telling
she-
you, Hans did her dirty.
But she lived in a nearby Grunewald hunting lodge. And so whenever well, not Grundelwald, but Grunewald.
Close enough.
Yeah.
It's close enough. But when Hedwig was unable to be a spouse and take care of the household, Anna stepped in And she ended up giving...
Him heirs.
No.
Him syphilis.
Also applicable at this time.
That was my second guess.
Okay. So not heirs, because she was the mistress, not actually married to him.
Uh-huh.
Because that does play a part later.
Bastards. Okay, she gave him bastards?
Yeah, she gave him to her kids.
I might have some of the... No, not mine, though.
Siblings.
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 Not...
Normally it's the guy that's confused about things. If you're confused...
I meant the siblings!
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
you probably do.
Not heirs, but she did give him 2 more children. About 10 years before his death, Joachim asked his actual heir, so not Anna's child, Johann Georg.
So she had him prior to her accident?
No, this is not hers.
No, but her
This-
children. The
Actual heir.
Hedwig's kids was born before her accident.
Yes.
That,
Okay.
okay, that's what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he had another wife before Hedwig. Hedwig had kids.
Oh, okay,
And so
okay.
this is one of Hedwig's kids.
Okay.
Johann Georg, to look after Anna once he passes. Now, this was 10 years before he died, so I felt like that was weird. But, yeah, anyway.
I meant, if their relationship, like, sometimes they, like, were not romantically involved and mistresses were fine because they were forced into marriage, so maybe...
See, and I think that was one of those situations, but I never really saw when Hedwig died.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was weird. There's a lot of holes there that I just didn't quite get to piece together.
Sure.
But as you can imagine, Johann did not follow his father's wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And so after Joachim passed away, Johann took his father's throne and immediately had Anna arrested and locked up in the tower, where she was imprisoned until her death in 1575.
Oh, I was going to say he burned the witch.
Well, and I would probably be mad if my lover / kind of husband made my not son promise to take care of me whenever he ascended to the throne, and then he immediately threw me in prison. So, you know, me being the salty bitch that I would be, and her being the salty bitch that she was, she haunted the Citadel as Die Weiss Frau, the White Lady,
Sure.
for years. Along, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's because it burned down. I noticed that earlier. It was going
Guys,
really dark.
the candle burned out.
La Dame Blanche strikes again. Not saying it.
It's the werewolf.
This was your
We were. You know my memory.
We were doing a callback. A callback to another one. We were doing a callback to your
I know.
story.
You know my memory is a raging dumpster fire. I can't remember what happened 2 seconds ago.
Embarrassing.
Like 20 minutes ago. Shut up.
Oh my god, her face of absolute surprise.
I
I'm like, oh, you guys remember that?
Yep, we do.
I didn't.
Dear God.
So, anyway, Anna, as the White Lady, haunted the Citadel
Sure. As would I.
along the side of the family of Joachim, but also more likely his son, because he's the one that fucking killed her.
Yeah.
And there have been... This is weird. Okay, hang on. I don't know if my notes refresh. Okay. So, basically, she haunted the shit out of this family because they killed her. And there are 2 theories as to why the sightings have become more scarce. One of them being because the bloodline is thinning out. It's becoming more dispersed. They're not coming around as much. Or because in 1709, they discovered bones in the imprisonment tower.
Did they salt them and burn them?
No, they buried them. And so they were hoping that would help put her at ease.
So they like put her to rest.
Right, so they were trying to put her at rest. However, she is still seen.
Because they didn't salt them and burn them.
But,
Watch an episode of
she's
Supernatural.
just like peeking in on people. She's not being hostile.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And so she will still appear to some visitors every now and then.
Right.
However,
Has to make an appearance.
here's the spooky thing. So remember how I said the Hohenzollerns would be a little cursed? Johann Georg,
The son.
was the first predicted to be visited by the White Lady. And he created the White Lady.
Oh, that's interesting.
And was the cause of multiple deaths within his family.
You are the whatchamacallit of your own prophecy, and I can't think of the word right now, but that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm following you.
See, she gets it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Catherine.
So yeah, he, because of his cruelty, literally caused his own death, in addition to the death of several other major family members. And I said that it was all men.
I get that.
So I mean, if I saw a White Lady, I'd be like, "What's up? How'd you die?" Okay,
Man, surprise.
some man did something wrong. I bet.
Shaka.
Sure.
I was surprised there wasn't rape in this one, to be honest.
There's
Yeah.
in mine.
Oh.
See, there we go. We got it covered, guys.
Yep.
Never fails.
So, to wrap this up, in modern day, the Citadel is still very lively, and it's home to several museums, including Unveiled, Berlin and its monuments, Castle and Citadel, which is representative of the rooms of the commander's house.
Cool.
So it recreated the rooms.
Cool.
City History Museum, archaeological window of the castle. Okay, that one was really cool. There's some pictures of it, and it literally is like plexiglass over the
real thing.
The
yeah,
digs.
yeah, it's awesome. And then Parade Hall, which exhibits historic weapons, including cannons and 16th century shoguns.
Oh,
Fancy.
the weapons.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool museums. There's a bat cave.
Yes, please.
So about 10,000 bats make the Citadel their home during the
like-
winter.
That is so
Actual
cute.
bat
And they,
cave.
like, actual bat caves, and they find little nooks and crannies, and you can actually take a little tour of it
I love
to go
bats.
see them.
I might pee myself, but let's do it.
I
Oh
love
my gosh.
that.
And, like, you can literally go see them and just, like, be like, hey, babies. And then, okay, there's a theater there, and they will have productions.
A theater.
And they are known for their music festivals, one of which called the
Coachella.
Spandau Macht Alte Musik, which is lovingly nicknamed Spam.
Spam.
And that,
Is someone mowing their lawn?
yes,
Potentially.
Sorry about that. It's dark outside,
yeah.
and someone's mowing their lawn like a doofus.
It's 9/11.
Oh,
Doofus.
That's at the actual time, though.
yeah. My clock says 9:12.
Well,
Yeah, Brie.
la-di-da.
Anyway, so that is the
Mine does not
Citadel.
Yay.
The city.
Spandau Citadel?
You said Citadel.
Citadel,
Oh.
which is Citadel, and then Spandau.
I swear you said it
I
again.
think you did say.
Suck it! It was city. BAM! But I got you, Carrie. It's okay.
Neither one of those words means city.
You just said the fucking
The
Citadel
Citadel.
was...
Citadel's a fortress. It's literally just called a citadel.
Oh, that's right.
So even if
Fine,
I
the
said,
fortress. What else?
it's just called a citadel.
Paul. We're going to talk about Paul.
Paul.
Hang on, I need more drink for this.
I need to
Bree's gonna
pee.
give me shit.
I'm always gonna give you shit.
I made your drink for you.
I thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we just took a break, and I do realize I said Citadel. Citadel Spandau. Okay.
Amazingly.
Welcome.
But hey, it was in German, then in English. So the frickin' Citadel.
Bitte schön. Okay. So, thanks for laughing at my you're welcome. Right?
You're
still
welcome. You're
Why
welcome.
are you still laughing?
I don't know.
There was a Heather's 101 reference. What is that, like 12 tonight? 13?
Yeah. We have a lot. We'll have to do a tally. We should do a tally for the whole shebang.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
If y'all would like to keep track of how many musical references we make,
Make like a little counter. That'd be cute.
and see like how many times we reference each of them.
Gosh, I love musicals. Okay, something not fun. So Paul Ogorzav, Paul Ogorzav, I think is how you would say that. Paul was born September 29th in 1912, and he died July 26, 1941. So that's a crucial year for World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about how he died in a little bit. It's a little bit of a comeuppance. So
If you don't
You
come
said
Muppets.
Muppets.
he is a Muppet.
Fucking hate Muppets.
I'm getting his comeuppance.
Yep. So, he was a German serial killer and rapist known as the S-Bahn murderer.
Fucker.
So, he was convicted for killing 8 women in the Nazi-era Berlin between October 1940 and July 1941. So he killed 8 women in a pretty short span. So the S-Bahn is the rail system in Berlin. Mm-hmm. And during the height of World War II, he was employed by the Deutsche Reichsbahn for the S-Bahn commuter rail system in Berlin. So it's like the commuter train, really commonplace. He joined the Nazi Party in 1931 at the age of 18, and he was a member of its paramilitary branch, the SA, and after Nazi seizure of power in 1933, he rose modestly in the party ranks. By the time of his capture, he held the position of squad leader, which is like Scharführer leader. So he was modest in the Nazi Party, and he worked for the train system, and that's really important because that's part of his MO and part of how he was able to get these women. So he wore his uniform working for the S-Bahn. So he was Olive does not like Nazis, and she is very upset about something.
She
wants her daddy.
She's banging against the
Oh,
door.
it was
That was
Mavis.
Mavis.
And Mavis is here.
Mavis doesn't like Nazis either.
Mavis.
Mavis.
It's okay.
Hi, sweetie. Yeah.
She really does not like this guy.
No.
Oh, I
He's
know.
a bad guy.
He's so mean, girls.
As they sniff each other's butts.
Allie's like, what's wrong, sister?
Yeah, they're very upset about something. So,
They wanted daddy.
they did want daddy. So, he's in the Nazi Party. He wears his uniform. So, it started in the community garden. So, during a lot of war times, people grow their own gardens. But in Berlin, not everyone had allotments of land. So, they had community gardens where you could grow fruits and vegetables so that they could get food. And at this time, most men have been drafted into the military, and so it's mostly women and children that are still left here, except for Nazi officials who are working in Berlin, like Paul was. Mm-hmm. So he would use the blackouts to stop British air raids, so they'd turn off all the lights, and he would hunt in the blackouts so no one could see them.
Oh.
So what he would do is and this was his sexual assault phase before he gained confidence to start killing. So he would bring a flashlight, and he would blind the women. So he'd walk up to them and then put the flashlight in their eyes so they couldn't see. And then he started out by strangling them, but he didn't realize how hard it is to strangle someone and how much pressure you need to apply for them to lose consciousness and then to die. And he would threaten them with knives, and he ended up stabbing several of these women, but not actually killing anyone until later. So he was basically practicing and gaining confidence. So he would blind them, and he would just assault them, like, in the gardens, because they would be walking through to work, and he would go through. So there was 31 separate cases of rape and sexual assaults, including 3 stabbings and 2 stranglings. And then he bludgeoned another woman after raping her on board the S-Bahn. So he started going to the trains because these women would call out for help. And other people would come help them. So he started moving them onto the train. So what he'd do is during the blackouts, he'd offer them a higher class seat to move them into an empty thing because it was pretty much all lower class people. So he'd separate them from other people on the train and then rape them on the train.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, so he bludgeoned another woman after raping her on the S-Bahn, and she survived because he thought that she had died and she was unconscious, and so she survived. And then in September, he had another victim survive after attempted strangulation, but she was thrown from the train. He tried to rape another woman in the station when her husband and brother-in-law came and rushed to her aid. He escaped after being beaten, though. So, in the light of this close call, he switched his MO to get more success because he now wanted to kill them. So, there was a 9-kilometer stretch of railway that he used, and there was like 2 train stations there, so he would do it in between the stations.
Fucker.
Oh.
He'd wear his work uniform. He'd go on empty carriages. When he'd see a woman, the age is pretty spread out, but most of them were like young housewives because that's who was left, would get on the train. Everything was dark because of the blackouts. So he got the lone female passengers who were not suspicious of a uniform employee of the S-Bahn. He'd ask for their ticket. He'd distract them and he'd attack them. So after strangling and stabbing didn't really work, what he did was he used a 2-inch thick piece of lead-encased telephone cable,
Jesus.
and he would beat them with it.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
And he actually got that from a storeroom, and that's how they ended up catching him. As they got that cable was only found at the S-Bahn, so they knew it had to be an employee.
Oh my gosh.
So his first murder was October 4th of 1940, and he stabbed a 20-year-old mother of 2. Her name was Gertrude Dieter, I think. Her husband Arthur was away in the military, in her home. So that was the first time he stalked her from the train station, killed her in her home. She thought it was like going to be like a little fling, a sexual tryst. 2 months later, he killed his second and third victims, and then December 4th, he killed Elfriede Franke, crushing her skull with an iron bar, and then he threw her corpse from the moving train.
Of course he did.
So that's what he would do, and there was a lot of apparent accidental killings on the rails because it was dark, right?
Yeah.
So people would literally fall, and so they'd be pretty badly beat up, but that's what he would do. He'd throw them from the train, and then an hour later, he encountered 19-year-old Irmgard Friese on the street walking home, and he raped her and then bludgeoned her to death.
This motherfucker needs to be fed his dick on knife point.
Yeah. So on December 22nd, railroad workers discovered the body of a fourth victim, Elizabeth Bungerner, discarded alongside the railroad tracks. And a medical examination determined she died as a result of a fractured skull beforehand. So now they're starting to realize that these are different. Mm-hmm.
Good.
So 6 days later, the 28th of December 1940, the police recovered Gertrude the morning after she had been assaulted and thrown from the train. So exposure and various life-threatening traumas, she was rushed to the hospital where she eventually died from her injuries, but she was still alive when they found her.
Oh my gosh, you said 6 days after?
The next morning, but she was
okay.
literally beaten, raped, and then thrown from a moving train. So the same thing happened on January 5th when Hedwig Eubauer, she was 5 months pregnant. They found her body on the S-Bahn. So he attempted to strangle her before throwing her from the train, but she survived and then died later in the hospital, never regaining consciousness. But they're able to catch this pattern now.
Yeah.
So February 11th, the 7th victim, Joanna Voigt, was a pregnant mother of 3. She was found. An autopsy confirmed what was suspected, that she had died as a result of repeated blows to the head and injuries sustained after being thrown from the train. So all these similarities, they're starting to realize that these women are being attacked before they're not falling.
Yeah.
And so all these crimes are now put together. So these 7 women who have been murdered are all connected, and they know that there's someone committing rape and sexual assault in the same area.
Yeah.
So what kind of heated the investigation, which is this is a very Nazi thing to happen, they assumed it couldn't be a German man committing these crimes.
Of course not.
So they assumed it had to be a Polish immigrant or a Jewish person that is doing this. And so it took them much longer to find someone because they wouldn't consider the possibility that it was a German man.
Because you have
that
fucking
sound familiar at all?
tunnel vision, you cocksucking sons of bitches.
So,
It's not relevant right now. History doesn't repeat itself.
Not
No.
at all. It's a good
So-
thing we don't have time machines, because I'd go back and kill all the rapists.
yeah. So this is actually kind of interesting. So the homicide unit of the Berlin police, it was Wilhelm Lutke, and he was not publicly able to seek information about the rapes or murders to warn the population by traveling at rail. So he sent out his detectives to discreetly deal with the case. So police operation was underway. 5,000 of 800 railway workers were being interviewed, and police patrols were doubled on the S-Bahn section. So the Nazi Party actually dispatched some of its functionaries to personally protect unaccompanied women who commuted through the area. So, like, if the Nazis are worried about this, you know something's fucked.
Yeah.
So unaccompanied women had Nazi officers escort them.
Which I'm sure would be terrifying, but also at the same time, like...
Yeah, well, and So they're doing that, and
It's a bad time in general.
yeah. Well, and Wilhelm, who was the Berlin homicide unit detector, was not actually a Nazi, so he was not affiliated with the party.
Oh, wow.
So he had police officers disguised as female and female detectives used as bait aboard second-class carriages. So
What
he had
badass women.
Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
But
men
also
just-
good detective.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So, and he
good
had
on
literally
you.
every person available go do that and dress up as a woman and ride on the railways because it was really dark, so it's really hard to tell, right?
Wait. Men dressing up as the women?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and female detectives. So any person that could pass size-wise was in a dress and sitting on that train trying to catch them.
Nice.
Mhm.
I love that.
Good
Yeah.
on y'all.
Yeah, he did a good
Damn.
job, and he, like I said, he couldn't publicly talk about it because he was under Nazi control, but
Yeah.
he did everything he could to catch these people.
That's awesome.
And the Nazis just had escorts there, but they didn't want to talk about it. And it actually, I read a couple articles that says that he was pretty not prejudiced at all
Sweet.
for this time, and so he really did good police work because he wasn't biased.
Yeah.
Which,
Good shit. See, I hate on ex-wives,
Wow.
but sometimes
How
y'all are
relevant.
impressive.
and so, he did the best he could. Other detectives were disguised as railway workers, and at each station, each commuter was watched. So they had undercover people everywhere.
That's awesome.
So Paul actually volunteered for a job escorting solitary women during the night hours.
Oh.
Because he worked at the station, right? And this is before they realized that it was someone who worked there. So despite the effort, they caught just a couple petty criminals undercover, right? But increased police attention did prompt Paul to become cautiously inactive for nearly 5 months following the murder of Voigt. So, he didn't reemerge until July 3rd, 1941, when he claimed his eighth and final victim, 35-year-old Frida Koelza. She was raped and then bludgeoned to death. And she was murdered in the same area where Paul had begun his wave of sex crimes 2 years before. So this
Gotcha.
forced him to go back into his old habits. And so Paul made a lot of misogynistic comments to coworkers and talked often about his fascination with killing. So he was eventually signaled.
Bruh. You suck at this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
eventually he was singled out by investigators looking for potential suspects among the railroad employees for the murder of Frida because of the cable. So a coworker reported to the police that Paul had climbed over the fence of the railway depot during work hours. And when they questioned him about it, he said it was that he sneaked out to meet a mistress whose husband was in the Nazi party, so he was afraid. But Wilhelm did not care. So he's the head detective for murder. He personally inspected Paul's railway uniforms and found blood on all of them. So he was arrested on July 12th, 1941. There was an intimidating interrogation set in a small room under a single light bulb. So, this is the beginning of, police doing different
Yes.
interrogation techniques. Paul was confronted with one of his severely injured victims and a tray
Oh, wow.
with the skulls taken from several of the other victims.
Dang.
So
Oh
they
my
brought
gosh.
in literally the woman's heads that were all crushed from being beaten to death.
But
And
also, they had to strip those down to the bone because they hadn't been dead long enough to
Yeah.
fully
Oh.
decompose at that point.
Yeah, so they brought in, and showed him the physical injuries that he caused. So he confessed to his crimes to Wilhelm, but he blamed the murder spree on alcoholism and claimed that a Jewish doctor had treated him incompetently for gonorrhea. So he had to drink because the Jewish doctor didn't treat him for gonorrhea well enough, and that's why he did it.
Shove it up your ass,
Yeah.
you motherfucker.
And Wilhelm's like, okay. So he, yeah.
I really
so,
want to make an Avenue Q reference. Hope you don't get gonorrhea.
yeah. So, Paul was formally expelled from the Nazi Party just 3 days prior to his indictment for murder, which I find ironic, but we're going to skip over that.
Yeah.
So he pled guilty to 8 murders, 6 attempted murders, and 31 cases of assault that included rape.
Oh.
He was promptly sentenced to death on the 24th of July by the Regional Superior Court of Berlin with all evidence and in the presence of 8 witnesses. The final charges against him were of criminal violence. That's the overarching thing. And so he was declared an enemy of the people by the Nazi regime and executed by guillotine at Plötzensee
Too quick.
prison on the 26th. So, yeah, he was executed by guillotine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Still too
I mean,
quick.
in
Should have been
1941.
drawn and quartered.
Yeah. So, yeah. So he was horrible. He literally... And that was only in 2 months. And that's all that he, claimed to be. But over 2 months, that's, over 40 women whose life
That's
He's severely
damn near
affected.
one a day.
Yeah.
Or every 2 days. Because you
2
said
years?
2 months. You said 2
2
months.
years.
2
Oh,
years.
okay. Okay, you said 2 months, and I was like, I thought before you said it was
No,
2
over
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's 1 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find fascinating that they still use the guillotine that late.
I feel like it's a very Nazi thing to do, though.
This
Yeah.
is true.
Choppy
Still think
choppy.
he should have been drawn and quartered.
Yeah,
Make that
but I mean,
motherfucker
even
suffer.
the Nazis didn't want to claim this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
how you know you're
ironic
bad.
as fuck.
Yeah. So, but apparently this police chief of Berlin, like, really was giving it his all, and they did catch him, and he did confess. So
Good.
they got him off the streets. But he, there's quite a few books written about him because it's, it's kind of like Devil in the White City with H.H. Holmes,
Yeah.
like
Right.
using the chaos that's going on around you as a way to go under the radar and murder people.
Yeah.
But he started attacking wives of Nazis, and so it didn't work out well for him.
H.H. Holmes will be a good one.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say, when are we
Chicago.
doing Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have to get a deep dish pizza thing so I can make
Oh,
pizza.
Yeah.
yeah, buddy.
That should be
Tastes like home.
Yeah, it's not real pizza, but I'll make it anyways.
Shut up.
So yeah,
I am
so
not
that is
biased with pizza.
Paul Ogorzov.
What a horrible human being.
He
AKA that
really
piece of
is.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was thoroughly sad.
Yes. And 2 of his victims were pregnant, I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
That-
Fucker.
So, like, he picked women that he knew he'd be able to overpower, which is disgusting.
That is atrocious.
Why I carry a knife.
Yeah.
Bitch, I will bite it off.
We hope you enjoyed your tour of Berlin.
Tschüss. Follow us on Instagram at Darkside Tour Guides and on Twitter at Darkside Guides. Give us a like on Facebook at Darkside Tour Guides. Visit the blog at darksidetourguide.wordpress.com or email us at darksidetourguides@gmail.com.